My name is Abdallah Maurus. I am the general manager at a local instrument importer and retailer called Room to Rock. And I've been the drummer of Motor Militia since we founded the band back in 2001. A friend of mine in school, he was the only person in our entire grade that, when I showed him, the latest Metallica or Megadeth, that didn't totally freak out. He actually liked it. And he was a piano player. He'd done some piano lessons when he was a kid. And he caught the bug when I played him some metal. And so he was like, oh, I want to learn how to play guitar, and then, maybe we can jam. And I was like, at the time I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, why not, But, you got to learn to play first. And next thing you know, another guy transferred into school who was a really good bass player, unbeknownst to me. But I'd met him, he was in one of my classes. And then later, the piano-playing guitarist friend of mine came down one day at school at my locker and was like, oh, your new friend, he's a bass player. We have to form a band. And I was just like, wait, what, huh? Band with who? You, me, and him. I'm like, you don't even know how to play yet, But, he, just to kind of, I think at the beginning, just to shut him up, I was like, okay, I'll talk to him tomorrow, And then the next day he was like, did you talk to him yet? It's like, oh, okay, fine, So I talked to the guy and he was like, yeah, cool, I'm up for a jam session and this and that. And, the first jam session, me and him, we had a really good chemistry on the drums and the bass, and that was the beginning of Motor Militia right there. And there's a funny story about, the first couple of shows, or the very first show we played, the MC wanted to announce us, and they were like, so what's the band called? And we were just like, oh shit, bands have names. So we just totally blanked, and we were like, we don't have a band name yet. But yeah, there's that phone conversation with the singer in the band at the time, and we were on the phone for an hour or more, and at some point I think I came up with the idea of, as an homage to Motorhead, one of our biggest influence, let's see if we can come up with a cool name like Motor this or that. And we were, a couple of things bouncing around, but nothing that stuck. And I was listening to Kill 'Em All by Metallica, and the singer picked up on that. He's like, hey, what are you listening to? I'm like, oh, I'm listening to Kill 'Em All. He's like, okay, what song is playing? And I was like, oh, it's the last track, it's Motor Militia. Okay, nice. I was like, wait a minute, Motor Militia. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, we came into the scene and we started playing shows with the other bands and getting to know people in the scene. And we started getting noticed, with our selection of songs. We weren't afraid to, to play Pantera, Slayer, some of the more heavy, fast-paced Metallica and Megadeth songs. We even did a Fear Factory song that everybody was like, what? And then we pushed the boundaries even more about a year later when we started integrating songs we'd written. Because we were writing songs from the beginning, but the first song you write is garbage, so the only people who know it exists are the people in the band at that time. But eventually we started writing songs that we thought they're pretty good, so it's like, oh, well, let's sneak this one into our set list. And, if people say, oh, who's that by? Then it's a good one. And eventually we had about 8 originals. And the bands at the time in the scene thought we were crazy for, like, what are you guys doing? You're dropping South of Heaven from your set list to play an original, But we did it. So in 2007, when we were putting the band back together, and we were looking for guitar players, Hisham was the very first name on the list. And it's now 11 years later, he's still with us in the band.
When I started with Motor Militia, I mean, there was just a concept of, okay, we want to write an album, and there are a few riffs here and there, but they weren't good at all. So I had to like clean them up. I had to make them into good riffs to make a song. With Motor Militia, it was different. I mean, like I feel like we've progressed a lot throughout the years, and we actually started like composing our original songs. So it's pretty much different. I mean, we're never satisfied unless like that riff or that part, it's like perfect. I mean, we don't stop unless we feel like that is the best we can do, and that sounds the best at what we're doing exactly.
Is that a new one, Persian? I'm just like, is that a new song? I need to record it.
If you match and you stick together as a band, you will eventually reach where you want to be. I mean, today with our actual like this album with these members, we got a lot more to give. This was like, you can say, as an experiment with these guys, but what's coming is going to be way, way better. It was pretty difficult, but when Ahmed came along, first practice, although the types of music he used to play back then was totally different. But once we started practicing, you just know straight away that this guy is here to stay. We just clicked.
Because I grew up with melodic music, because I grew up with blues, jazz, classical music, I think my approach was more melodic to writing music with Motor Militia than a thrash kind of way. And I think with Word and Flames, I was able to actually incorporate a lot of melodic riffs and melodic solos to it, other than the straight thrash metal music that they did in Cloaked in Darkness. And I think that really, I mean, there are a lot of people that know my kind of music, the way that I used to play guitar, what kind of music I used to play. And they approached me and told me, I can see a lot of your style in Word and Flames, which really made me happy because, okay, I've influenced their music, and that's really good for me. Motor Militia. To be honest, it means a lot to me because it's the band that brought the thrash metal guy in me, you know? It makes me enjoy playing live. It makes me enjoy writing music, playing the thrash metal music, and just, you know, enjoying playing the music that I'm writing and seeing how the band, I mean the crowd interact with us. You know, it's a huge thing for me. First impression of John. I hated him. No, I'm kidding. When our previous vocalist quit the band, we had a lot of other like auditions with other vocalists, and I'm not gonna name any names, but they were horrible, you know. And John he just came to the country, and I remember people told me that he used to sing a lot in Diggers. And Abdullah told me that we're gonna do like a small gathering of new musicians and old musicians and like in a jam room, and we're gonna see how it goes. And the moment I saw him singing, I was like, okay, this guy's really good. And so we invited him to come and to one of our practices and to sing with us. We just gave him like lyrics or whatever, and just to play with us. And the moment he started singing, I was like, okay, that's the guy.
When I was 16 years old, Mum and Dad used to go to the pub a lot. I was standing outside of this pub and I heard the name John Baker come to the stage. It was a karaoke setup actually at the local pub. And John Baker come to the stage, and I've turned around to my dad's name's John Baker, and I said, Dad, they're calling you, you've got to get to the stage. And he said, no son, it's you. I know you can sing, you love to sing AC/DC and you sound excellent. So the song was TNT. So I got up onto this karaoke stage, absolutely shitting myself. Anyways, I sang the song and nearly brought the whole pub down. Motor Militia itself is just, I feel it is just pure thrash metal. It's just like full on energy all the way through. And that's kind of what I like, you know. Going back to Phil Anselmo, I mean, you watch him on stage, he's just like a lunatic the whole time, you know, he's jumping around and carrying on. And that's what I am like as well. And that's the type of music that I like. That's the energy I like. That's the energy I like to give the crowd. I think with the great range of age that we have in our band, you know, Mohammed being the youngest and myself being the oldest in the band, I think every one of us have come through a different period of life. You know, so Mohammed's coming through this new era, you know, new genres of music. He'd be listening to music that I would never have heard of and probably wouldn't even like, to be honest with you. Whereas I came through an era which was old school. You know, I'm talking about albums from 84 to 86 to 89, you know, from Slayer and Sepultura and all these types of things. And that was my influence, you know. When I met him, he rolled into this room, actually. Yeah, that's the first time I met the guy. So, and he seems, you know, he seemed pretty shy. He is a kind of a shy guy until you get a warlock over his shoulder and you get him on stage and he goes mental.
Well, the thing is, with Motor Militia, it started back in 2001. It's one of the oldest metal bands in Bahrain. The thing is, when I joined the band, I wasn't like a big fan or something, even though I know they're the biggest. But I treated everyone like they're just a band. It's not like the most famous or whatever. And right now, it's just we're kind of friends or family right now that we meet once or twice a week, and we do whatever we like. So when I first joined the band back in 2017, at the same time I was going through the most difficult year in the university, so I was very busy, and at the same time I had to learn the songs. We didn't have any guitar tabs, so literally Mars sent me the tracks of the album, and I had to learn it. So literally the day of the practice in the morning, I learned the first two songs, and then came to the practice and played along the rest. Obviously, we want to play abroad. We want to go to tours in Europe, the US, whatever the chance we get, and hopefully we'll make it out there.
What would you guys think that all your other band members would be doing if they were not in the music career?
What do we think everybody else will be
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah.
Tennis.
Yeah, I was going to say tennis and backco. And that's it.
That's about
Doing
it.
his oils.
Lubricants. Doing his lube. Yep. Never getting that one back.
Camera down there.
Yeah, the moment he said Babco, I knew this was coming.
You know, what's Motor Militia about as well? We're a bunch of guys, you know, who just love playing thrash metal. You know, we love playing music, we love expressing what we do. We all got our own little different styles, you know. And I think together, now, the current lineup, it's great.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's storytelling. You know, it's not a religion; it's a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you think, man?
Well, with what you just said, it's as simple as that, really. We're just 5 guys who love thrash metal. We grew up listening to thrash metal, and we came up together. Basically, this new lineup that we have right now, which is to me, I think to all of us actually, the best lineup we've had for the band since 2001. And the way we connect together and the way we relate when it comes to thrash metal, that's the way we actually write our music. Other than that, the storytelling that Abdullah spoke about.
It all comes down like to the connection. Like we're all on the same page, like writing the songs. Like we just click every time we write something. Like every time we meet to, we're just like we know exactly like where we're looking at and what we want.
Yeah, that's very true. We're like just like that. We click just like that. We have a riff, we write it. Everybody relates to it. Who likes that? We change a few things in it, maybe, and that's about it.
Throw bass and drums and vocals on it, and it's
That's
good
about it,
to
yeah.
go.
What does 2019 hold for Motor Militia as a band? What are
New
the
music,
Yes.
definitely new music.
New
We're
music,
working on a few
music.
more songs, new gigs, and like John said earlier, hopefully overseas.
Yeah.
But right now, currently, we're working on a new song, a new single that we're hoping to release in the next few months.
Yeah. And then after that, I suppose new videos.
Maybe new
Yeah,
videos,
music video.
yeah. So
We
the new song will be released with a video somewhere early to mid 2019. Playing gigs abroad, upping, our presence and activity on social media, marketing. Just doing everything we're doing now and just keep turning up the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is on
yeah.
the
You can hear we've got like 3-4 songs on our YouTube channel. Wherever digital music is sold or where you can stream it, our music is there. We've got, like I said, our Bandcamp page where you can preview the songs in full and purchase them. For physical copies, you can buy it on Amazon, CD Baby, on our Bandcamp.
Bandcamp's got the shirts too.
Bandcamp's got the shirts.
Yeah.
If you're in Bahrain or not too far away, come down to our next show. We'll hook you up with some CDs and some T-shirts. We're very approachable, regular. Sometimes new fans will be like, "Oh my God!" It's like, dude,
Don't worry about
don't worry about it.
We're just humans.
We're regular guys. We just play in a band that's been playing for 17 years or whatever. Doesn't matter.
Any last words to anyone who gets inspired by you, looks up to you as a band?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
Just live your dream.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if that's what you want to do, you're getting inspired by us. Great, we're doing a great job, and I suppose we're happy that we're inspiring people to do the same thing that we were inspired to do when we were this young.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like 17, 18, and looking at bands like Pantera, Phil Anselmo. That for me is like #1 vocalist. So if we're doing that for other people, excellent. Keep it going. Yeah. Anything we can do to help them to grow as well, happy to do it.